Hey guys, today I am going to take us through a tutorial of using MyFitnessPal on your desktop or laptop. So I know a lot of people use it on their phone, and we're going to do some other videos with the app, but today this is just a quick 101 on creating and entering foods on MyFitnessPal. So once you've logged in, you should see your username up here, making sure you're logged into your account. This would be a blank page before you've entered any foods for the day. Now, you will see down here, this is where you've got your macronutrient goals for the day. So before you enter everything, remaining and goals will be equivalent. So you can see here 163 carbohydrate grams, 32 fat grams, 127 protein grams. And these are the only three categories if you're working with me as a client that you are focusing on. I'm always paying attention to these two as well, but just for your sake, on a daily basis, your goal is to hit those ranges within 10-20% plus or minus. This is not an exact science, and you're going to have some discrepancies, but the goal being to get as close as possible. So when you first go to enter foods, you're going to start building up a database of frequently used foods. When you first start, there will not be any foods listed, but when I click here, let's say I'm ready to enter my breakfast for the day, I'm going to go ahead and just say I want to add a food. You can see here, because I use this on a daily basis, I've got a lot of already existing entries. If you're getting started to begin with, you need to use this search food database up here. So you can either enter the brand or the food type, look at your food label. If it doesn't have a label, for example, produce, or you've gotten something from the deli, or you've got some kind of a product that you purchased at a farmer's market or something like that, then you'll just need to enter the food type. For example, let's say you're going to eat a banana for breakfast. You can just enter banana and click search, and here you go. You've got a lot of options. Now the key here is you cannot always rely on these check marks, unfortunately. That's one of my beefs with MyFitnessPal, is there are verified entries that don't necessarily reflect accurate macronutrients. The calories may be correct, but because we are tracking carbs, fats, and proteins, you want to make sure those items are actually correct as well. So you can see here, this is an Albertsons, that's a supermarket banana. What I always do is I want to just kind of look for one that says raw, click on that, and what you want to make sure of is that you're adjusting portion and serving size units. So it depends on how you've measured your food. What we want to get away from is some of these real generic, one small, one extra large, unless you're actually measuring it, because that just using your eye there is kind of deceiving, right? What does medium banana mean? So just make sure you're always getting a little bit more detailed and actually looking at the length of it. Using grams or ounces would be my preference. Now this is without the peel, so make sure you peel the banana and then weigh it. So let's just say hypothetically you weighed that banana and it weighed 150 grams. So they've got a 100-gram option. So if we click 100, you had 1.5 servings of that to make it 150 grams. So just make sure you don't just click and push enter and assume that the default, which was 4.2 ounces, reflects what you actually ate, right? This is not just about entering the type of foods that you ate, but what portion of those foods did you eat. The other thing you want to make sure of is you're entering the meal that you ate it during. So you can click this pull down and change if you had it as a snack, or maybe you had it after dinner as a treat. So depending on how you have your meals set up in your settings, you want to make sure you put it in the meal that you ate it for. So once all that looks correct, you can even check the nutrition info to start to familiarize yourself. So you can say, wow, I wonder how many carbs, fat, and protein are in 150 grams of banana. So if you look at that, you can see no fat. Most fruit is going to be fat-free. 34 grams of carbohydrate, 18 of those being sugar, and 2 grams of protein. And you probably knew, if you're familiar at all with macronutrients, that fruit is typically a solid carbohydrate source, and it does have some sugar in it. That doesn't mean that it's a bad carb. It just does have a higher sugar content. But as long as you're balancing that with some fats and protein, there's nothing wrong with that. So just checking that, always educating yourself as you're starting to learn what foods fall into what categories. So you can say, oh gosh, I don't really want to use 34 grams of carbs on a banana. Maybe I'll just have half of it. So instead of 100 grams, maybe I'm going to have 50 grams, right? So I'm just going to enter that there. Okay. It may not let me change it there. Let's go back here. Here we go. So it's got it changed. All right, so now if I do nutrition info, you can see I'm at 11 carbs. So let's say I'm ready to enter that. Just add food to diary, and there it goes. So 11 carbs, no fat, 1 protein. That's what I've used up out of my budget for the day. And now as we scroll, you'll see a discrepancy here, right? It's showing your 11 total carbs that you've eaten, subtracting that from your goal, and you've got 150 left now for the day. So as you start to enter additional foods, it will start to deduct from that budget, and that's how you're deciding what you need to eat through the day. As you start to deplete certain buckets from that bank account, you might have to alter the choices you make for a snack. If you get to snack time and you've got a ton of protein left, but you're almost out of carbs and you need some for dinner, you're going to have to make choices accordingly. So that's why we really want to always be scrolling down and looking at that budget. And again, the app looks a little different, so we want to make sure you understand how to see that on your app. But on the website and the desktop, it's real easy to see where you are for the day. So that is a quick tutorial on entering a food in MyFitnessPal. We're going to get into recipes and quick tips to maximize your time on this, but for the most part, pretty intuitive and easy. You just always have to check those nutrients and make sure they make sense and adjust portions to be sure that you're using and eating in the amounts that you want. All right, guys, that's it.